Well, after nearly 20 years since its ruin, construction resumes this morning on the rebuilding of St. Nicholas Church in Lower Manhattan. The iconic church was destroyed in the 9/11 terror attacks after the South Tower, the World Trade Center, came crashing down on it. Well, now, after years of cost overruns and mismanagement, the project is back on track. And we're joined this morning from the construction site by Father Alexander Carlosas with the Greek Orthodox Archdiocese of America and business owner John Catsimatidis, CEO of Gristides Foods. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Lori.
Got a beautiful day out there for really a triumphant moment, but it's taken 20 years. John?
The sun is shining upon this day because this is a symbol of unity for all Americans. This church is being built for not only the Greek Orthodox, it's being built for the Catholics, it's being the Protestants, the Jews, Muslims. It's about never forgetting what happened 20 years ago, and this church will stand for the next 1,000 years on that symbol and bringing all Americans together and bringing all international groups together as a symbol of peace, and never forget, and it'll never happen again. Father Alex?
I fully agree with you, John. This is going to be a light on the hill, and it's going to be open to each and everyone with a great deal of love. There's always the word xenophobia, which means the fear of the stranger. This is going to be a home of philoxenia, and we are going to embrace the world, the love of the stranger. And indeed, it was a very strange day 20 years ago, approximately 19 years ago, September the 11th, when that great day of tragedy occurred. This is going to be the hill of hope. When people come outside of the memorial or from the museum, they're going to look up here. This is why Archbishop will be the Photos of America is coming down here. We'll be joined by the governor at 11:30, and we are going to do a blessing and commence reconstruction, and we're going to be putting a skylight to begin the completion of this great church, the Parthenon of Orthodoxy at Ground Zero. This is America, religious freedom, which we celebrate as Americans around the world.
And
we will finish.
John, speak to John.
September 11th, 2021.
John, speak to the history also. Can you hear me?
Anniversary. I can hear you.
Okay, so just speak to the history of the church. I know originally it was built in 1916. It was on cedar back then, but after Ellis Island, it welcomed so many immigrants.
What happened then, as it is, as you well know, 1916, it became a church. Before that, it was a tavern. And then when the immigrants who came to this country, they would come off of Ellis Island, the Statue of Liberty, what they would do is go to this tavern. Then when they got married, their wives said, what are we doing about getting married in the church and having children? We got to baptize them. So they made it into a church. And so when we were the only house of worship on a big parking lot on that September 11th day, and when it was crushed, we went to see Governor Pataki the next day. Governor Pataki immediately said, we will give you the opportunity to rebuild. We need a church. We need a place of hope. We need a place of light. And so what we did is that we created it at 130 Liberty, at where the old church was on Cedar Street, is actually a very important monument. It's the first responder monument in honor of those who went to Afghanistan, the Green Beret, all the first responders who took President Bush's message to the world that America is the land of the free and the home of the brave. And so this church is connected to the old church with the first responder statue, 130 Liberty. Without Andrew Cuomo, without Governor Andrew Cuomo, the Port Authority was great. We would never have this day.
So
and
what's
I got to say, the Friends of St. Nicholas,
what's going to be different about this church? John, ask John and Father Alex, what will be different about this church?
This is an ecumenical church. We welcome all all people, all Christians, all Jews, all evangelicals, all Muslims. We want to be all together for the whole world, and we expect to help New York's economy. We're spending another $40 million over the next year or so, and we'll be ready by 9/11/2021, which is the 20th anniversary, and we expect 2 to 3 million visitors, tourists every year that will help New York's economy too.
But the truth is that we went a little bit overrun. It's an $86 million structure. It is good for the New York economy, but we're going to have a bereavement center, and that's what John's talking about, open to everybody. And when it was a small little church, it was a place of sacred space. So down at Wall Street, you would have Jewish people, Christians, people of all different faiths. Atheists would come in just to have a sacred moment. Wow. And that's what we want to create, a sacred space amongst the steel. And this will be the same marble that created the Parthenon 2,500 years ago, the Pentelicon marble. This is the marble that is being used here. So it's the same marble that of the Parthenon, and that's why we call it the Parthenon of Orthodoxy. And thank you for having us today.
Thank you for being on. It's going to be
New York.
Thank you. And thank you for what the church has given the community as well. I hope it's going to be a splendid ceremony this morning for you.
Well, thank you very much. Have a great day. God bless.
All right, Father Alexander Kalousos and John